The iPhone 15 Ultra is going to be better than you think in terms of both the performance and the design, because I've been working with Renders by Shailesh on Twitter to create the perfect design that I think it's going to look like based on all of the recent leaks and rumors, as well as some old ones that I think are actually going to come true. And no, it's not going to look something like this really weird and outlandish design on Twitter, or especially this one with a display on the back. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's not coming, not even this recent one with this really weird camera window over on the right side with what looks to be, I don't know, speaker or microphone grills? Like, what the heck is this? It's not gonna look like these guys. And I also believe it's not gonna look as simple as this with the current 14 Pro Max camera design with simply the rounded edges, as you can see, because we did get some rumors that these edges are gonna be rounded on the back for a more convenient feel. And of course, those leaks came from Shrimp Apple Pro on Twitter saying that the iPhone 15 could feature a titanium chassis with curved rear edges. That's where it stemmed from. Now, Shrimp actually commented on these recent renders saying that they lack something very important, and that is, of course, the periscope camera, which has been rumored to come out next year. According to Ming-Chi Kuo, next year's iPhone 15 Pro Max will get a new 12 megapixel telephoto lens with 6x optical zoom and sensor shift stabilization. So as you know, right now, we have a 3x optical camera on the 14 Pro, but we're gonna be getting a 6x, and the only way to make that possible is to use a periscope lens. If you don't know what that is, this is what it looks like. Basically, you have the entire lens and sensor buried inside of the phone with a mirror reflecting the light, basically going into the sensor like this. And the leaks and rumors are showing that we're gonna be getting that next year with a 6x optical zoom lens. And that's basically why I disagree with some of the renders like this that show the exact same camera layout, because they're not showing the new periscope lens. Now, there is one possible way to make it work like this, which I'm gonna reveal a little bit later on in this video, and it might be a genius solution, but it also might not work. Now, of course, you've probably seen some of the renders like this with a 4-camera layout, but it is actually not possible to do this. And let me explain why a layout like this, there's just no way it can happen. What you're seeing right here is an actual X-ray image of an iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now, if you didn't already know, here is the camera module, this entire kind of block right here. It's all just one encapsulated module. And these sensors are big, the cameras themselves are big, so much so that they fill up the entire thickness of the iPhone internals all the way through. So if we had 4 camera lenses like this, it would actually be impossible, because right here is the selfie cameras and sensors for Face ID with the dynamic island. So you literally cannot physically put a lens up here. It would be in the way of the selfie cameras. So that is why Apple has this iconic design with this triple camera lens with it kind of down here in this triangle formation. And you can actually see the reverse of that X-ray kind of flipped here. You see this entire encapsulated camera module with this selfie camera setup right here. So of course you can't put anything up here. So the idea is, where do you put a periscope lens like this one? This is actually from the Pixel 7 Pro from Jerry Rig Everything and his teardown. You can see the design of the periscope. You can see the lens glass with the mirror reflecting out to the right. You have all of the lenses here, and then this squarish thing is the sensor that is mounted sideways. So essentially, light enters through the glass, goes through the mirror, reflects, and goes right into the sensor. That's how a periscope lens works, and that's how it's gonna work on the new iPhone 15 Ultra or Pro Max. So essentially, the only place they can realistically fit that long periscope lens is not gonna be at the top. It could either be on the right of this lens or over in this general area. Now, there was somebody that made this render from November 12th, 2021, where they showed that periscope lens down here, and of course it reflects towards the right, but I totally disagree with this design. I don't think it's gonna happen because the battery is actually down here, and they don't wanna impede on the battery size. So, with that said, let me finally reveal to you guys my renders that I created with Renders by Shailesh. Check it out. And boom, there you go in this nice copper bronze color. Now you might think, whoa, this is really weird and this is different, but I'm gonna explain every aspect of this design, including the curved glass on the back. Yes, not the metal is curved, but I believe the glass itself is gonna curve, and you might think that's nuts because it's gonna crack, but there's a very good reason for that, and Apple actually pre-planned for that. You can see that the lenses stick out, and you can see some differences in the actual LiDAR scanner, the flash, and the new window for the periscope lens. But first, just check out all of these different colors. We have this new kind of bluish color right here. We of course have this render showing off the bottom with the curved glass peeking out and the USB-C port. You can see this nice close-up right here. Oh man, this looks really, really clean. And my personal favorite is this silver. Check that out. We got white on the back, silver on the sides, and if you can't tell, this is actually a titanium metal finish that we have, and that's of course because we have the leaks of titanium, and Shrimp Apple Pro actually posted recently a new titanium finish supposedly going up on Weibo. This is actually the texture of the titanium of the 15 Ultra. And then I absolutely love this shot, this render that Shailesh created. He just did such a good job. Go ahead and follow him on Twitter. But now let me explain all of this and what's going on here. And this actually brings me back to an old leak from Jon Prosser, who said that there's gonna be a protruding flat glass panel on the back of the iPhone 14, which of course that got delayed, so now it's gonna be the iPhone 15, but I basically took his design on, and instead of having the camera modules flush with the glass, my take was that they would actually stick out because the cameras are gonna get bigger and thicker, especially with the 48 megapixel camera sensor that we got, of course, in the 14 Pro, but I believe the front is gonna stay the same. It's not gonna protrude on the new one. It's gonna be protruding on the back. But now, ever since we got those leaks and rumors of the back actually being rounded, my idea is, what if Jon Prosser was right? The back is gonna protrude, however, the glass itself is gonna curve into the frame like this for a nice glass feel on the back of the iPhone with everything being textured. It's not gonna be glossy anymore. And a very important aspect of this design is that this etched glass squarish bump is gonna disappear. Essentially, instead of all of this being etched down, it's gonna be a flat panel all the way to the top of basically this glass window. It's all gonna be thick and flat with the camera bumps sticking out like it is here. And that's important because it's gonna allow Apple to make these cameras even bigger than they are on the 14 Pro. So all of them are gonna be bigger, and that's gonna give more room for everything to fit nicely. So now before I explain what's going on here with the LiDAR relocation, the flash, the microphone hull going up, and this new window for the periscope camera, before I show you guys that stuff, let me explain why I believe the back glass is gonna be flush and curved around. Well, if you didn't already know, Apple has recently changed the design, or the way they designed the iPhone 14 Pro Max, to where they can actually access everything from the back of the iPhone this time without having to completely take everything apart like they did with the 13 Pro and the other years. Now it's much easier to replace the back glass panel and much cheaper. So I believe Apple made that change to prepare for this new redesign where you have the more exposed glass that curves around and gives you a nice, really nice feel. I believe this looks just so much better than we have right now. This is super clean, flat glass panel on the back, basically giving more room for everything to fit in there. And there's even a chance that this glass panel won't be completely thick on the inside. There's a chance that they could actually etch the inside of the glass panel to give more internal space, almost like scooping it like a bowl on the inside, and you won't be able to notice because the outside is painted like this, but on the inside there could be more internal space. So that's a pretty key, important part that's gonna allow everything to basically fit more nicely. And of course, with the matte glass texture, this phone is gonna feel amazing. It's gonna be more fragile, but it's gonna feel amazing. Now, let me get into explaining these different aspects right here. Now, in my initial renders that I created with him, I had the periscope at the top before I realized that it's actually not possible to fit this periscope design on the inside because this periscope camera is going to be really thick, basically encapsulating the full thickness of the iPhone because you have to have a side-mounted sensor. And because of the X-ray that I later looked at, I realized it's impossible to put a periscope here. There's just too much of these selfie cameras there. There's no way. So that's why I flipped everything and I put it towards the bottom where you can see on this X-ray, if you have the periscope here, you could have it go out sideways here. All Apple would have to do is kind of redesign the logic board and make a cutout where it goes around that periscope camera, and then they could actually make it fit. So this right here is what we ended up with. You have the periscope on the bottom, you have all of the glass elements going through to the right. Apple's gonna redesign the logic board on the inside to make everything fit, and of course it still looks very nice and clean. If you completely hate it or disagree with me, let me know in the comment section below. But if you enjoy these new renders and you like them, please share them online, share them around to see what other people think, and click the circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.